Welcome back to That Handicapping Show. I'm Claire Novak, joined once again by Frank Angst, and today we're going to take a look at the Jim Dandy Stakes at Saratoga, mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds, worth $600,000, and of course this is the classic prep for the Travers Stakes, the Midsummer Derby at the Spa. We have a couple of good horses in here, familiar faces. Of course, the Belmont Stakes winner Tonalist coming back for the first time since winning that race the first Saturday in June. And we have Wicked Strong, who dead heated with California Chrome for 4th in the Belmont last time out. So Frank, couple of interesting class horses and then some new shooters coming in as well. How do you see this race setting up?
Oh, I mean, in terms of setting up, I think the horse along the rail will go to the lead. Cousin Steven, it looks like he's has speed and he drew the rail, and Johnny V, so I'm sure that's probably what they'll opt to do. And I see Tonalist tracking right off of that horse, and just based on what I've seen from Tonalist, I think he will be well within himself to track that horse and can probably seize the lead whenever he decides to. I just can't get past Tonalist in terms of the win here. It just looks like a powerful horse to me that's come on late in the spring and just has the potential to really put things together this summer and fall.
Tonalist 2 for 2 at the mile and an eighth distance. First, he broke his maiden at Gulfstream back in January. Got a little setback with the lung infection over the winter, but Christophe Clement took his time with him. He came back and won the Peter Pan impressively in the slop before rolling to that Belmont win. So always good to have a horse who's familiar with the distance, and he does seem to have a handy enough tracking speed here.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of speed in this race. Wicked Strong has been a horse that I like, but I don't know that there's enough speed in here to set up his late run. I would suspect he would be closer to the pace, but I don't always like picking a horse that's going to have to do something a little different than what it likes to do. Maybe the Travers more early speed shows up for Wicked Strong.
And Wicked Strong, of course, supposed to run first-time blinkers for Jimmy Jerkins. He worked him in the blinkers at Saratoga, said he liked what he saw from that. He's going to put those on, and Wicked Strong draws the outside. I am going to go with this horse who I do really like. I liked his Wood Memorial victory, and I like the fact that he has turned in a couple of strong runs in the classic races. Obviously, these two are the class of the field and also share co-highweight 123. Another horse in here is interesting to me. Of course, you have the Derby runner-up Commanding Curve, who was going to run in the Curlin Stakes, but they entered him here and are going to run him here. But another horse who's interesting to me is Kid Cruz. I think this horse has been particularly well managed. His connections have been very realistic about putting him in the right spots. And I think he's sneaky good, and people who saw him in the Dwyer last time out started to realize, oh, this horse actually, has a lot of class. He ran a great race in the Dwyer. Of course, he stretches back out from the mile and a 16th here, but I do like him to hit the board.
Yeah, he's run 2 nice races. The one thing on my side, and maybe I'm just the nutball who actually does this, I had that horse running with a bias in both of those wins, so I'm not quite as impressed as a sport. I mean, that horse is putting things together, but as a handicapper, I'm not quite as impressed. If there's going to be an upset here, I could see Cousin Steven, especially if Tonalist doesn't get off to a good start. I could see if people are not if they don't choose to stay close to Cousin Steven, he's a danger on the front end, but I think Tonalist will stay close enough and take this race.
All right, and of course, Cousin Steven, proud citizen colt, trained by Chad Brown, and he did make a couple of attempts in graded company before earlier, so his connections did think highly of him. He ran into Sam Davis, he ran in the Tampa Bay Derby, so maybe this will be his chance coming off that strong allowance win at Parks. Of course, that was a mile race? Yes. So back out he goes to the longer distances. Some interesting facts on the Jim Dandy. 10 of the past 16 Travers winners, including 4 of the past 5, have come out of this race. So you know that the horses in here could show up again in that Travers. And for Tonalist, it's a shot. If he does win this race, if he does win the Travers, I mean, he could put himself into contention for 3-year-old honors, depending on what California Chrome does for the rest of the year.
The Dual Classic definitely gives California Chrome a commanding lead in the division. But stranger things have happened of Tonalist. But I think Tonalist would have to at least finish as the top 3-year-old in the Breeders' Cup Classic and likely would have to win that race. But because winning the 2 classics is so powerful, that's the whole idea with 3-year-olds is those 3 races. But Tonalist does have a win in one of those. Travers would add something there. And yeah, if California Chrome doesn't keep up, maybe Tonalist does make that second half push and pull it out.
All right, so getting things started for the summer season, headed into the year-end honors and the race for the Breeders' Cup. Of course, we'll keep you posted on all the developments over the weekend at bloodhorse.com, and the Haskell coming up on Sunday, so make sure to catch Untappable running in there against the boys. Thanks, as always, to Briss for the PPs. For Frank, I'm Claire. Thanks for watching the Handicapping Show.